truth be told, the most horrible thing I've ever heard about bounce houses are the noise that comes from my neighbor's yard when he rents one for his kids. People get absolutely crazy in these things, and they yell and they scream and they holler, and I don't think it's for horror, but apparently there's some scary stuff that's happened with bounce houses before. We're gonna react to 3 horror stories today about them from Spooked. Make sure to head on over to his channel and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you like reaction videos, subscribe to my channel as well. Let's get into this reaction.
When I was roughly about 6, I was invited to one of my classmate Debbie's parties.
All right.
I remember it was over at her house, and I was
pink.
excited to see that they had a bounce house in the backyard.
Yeah, you can jump.
The classmate's family that hosted the birthday was pretty well off, to say the least. So it was a relatively big castle with multiple attractions inside.
Those things are pretty expensive.
I greeted everyone and immediately took my shoes off and entered.
It's a legit business too.
I started bouncing around as kids would when I noticed an older man in the far back of the castle.
Okay.
He was kind of jumping around and playing with the kids.
Okay.
For some reason, I remember falling down and him immediately asking if I was okay.
Like a grandpa?
It wasn't a rough fall.
An uncle
I just kind of tripped down and pushed myself back up.
Right.
But that's when he introduced himself as Gordon, telling me he was Debbie's father.
Oh, okay.
He asked me what my name was, to which I said it was Sarah.
Alright.
He then started to ask me a bunch of questions like how old I was and what toys I like to play with. I told him my age and said that I played mostly with Barbies.
Right.
He then asked me if I like cotton candy and said yes. Then he tells me to wait there. He gets out to the cotton candy stand to ask for 1 cotton candy.
Right.
He comes back and hands it over to me, and then abruptly leaves. I see him go inside the house. This was pretty weird, given that everyone, including the parents, were outside with their kids or having a drink.
Alright.
I finish eating the cotton candy and jump on the bounce house some more. Yeah. And this time, try to make some friends in the process.
Yeah, for sure.
Suddenly, I see Gordon at the back of the bounce house, this time standing behind the net, and sort of gesturing for me to come to him. I walk over to him, and he enthusiastically asks me if I wanted to go explore the inside of the house, because Debbie had a massive collection of Barbie dolls that I could play with, and that Debbie was okay with it.
He went to do some investigating.
As I mentioned before,
so he could
I was really into Barbies, so I accepted and followed him inside.
Of course. You innocent
I get into Debbie's room
kid.
and indeed realize she has a large collection of different Barbie dolls. I get down and start playing around, but I notice Gordon hasn't actually left, and he's still behind me, sort of watching me play.
Right.
Then he sits next to me and starts making conversation with me.
That is very
asking
creepy.
Which one were my favorite dolls and such. I don't really remember specifically what he was asking me, but I remember him escalating the conversation to the point where he was asking me if I had any crushes on the boys at school.
Oh, yeah.
I said I didn't like anyone at school,
red flags,
and sort of tried to ignore him the best I could by giving him short answers. That's when he got even closer and started playing with my hair and sort of putting it over my ear.
This is making me
It got to the point where he was about to kiss me, and that's when we heard someone coming up the steps. He instantly jolted away and quickly disappeared out of the room.
What a
Then I heard him ask where the bathroom was, and some girl was telling him it was downstairs. Then Debbie entered her room and found me. She asked me what I thought I was doing and why I was in her room. I told her her dad wanted to show me where her Barbie collection was, and he led me upstairs to her room. She was furious, so she went downstairs to ask her dad if it was true. I sort of followed her and saw her asking her dad. I then went down to ask Debbie's dad if he was the real Gordon, to which he said yes, and asked why. I added that there was a grown man named Gordon who pretended to be Debbie's dad and had me go upstairs with him. That's when it all just clicked for everyone, and we all rushed upstairs to see if he was still there. And even with the help of all the other parents, nothing was found, except the window wide open in the bathroom.
Wow, this was a complete
To this day, it still gives me the
stranger.
creeps how this guy was so cold-blooded into pretending to be Debbie's dad.
Oh my God.
And sort of manipulating everyone in the process.
How did he not get caught? That's, oh my God, dude. How does that happen?
This happened when I was about 8 years old, and is quite literally the most traumatizing thing that's happened to me and my brother. It was our neighbor's twin kid's birthday. They were roughly about our age, so me and my brother were invited. We were a little hesitant to go at first, because we always thought the neighbor's kids were a little weird.
Okay.
But when my brother and I saw that they had installed an inflatable house in their backyard that day, we went over to check it out.
They got the hottest
As we
thing on the
entered their
block.
house,
Time to
we were
play.
greeted by their dad, who we never actually met before.
Okay.
His name was Rocco, and I'd be lying if he wasn't the most intimidating looking man I've ever seen.
Big boy, huh?
He was bald, spoke in a low, raspy voice, and had these large tattoos almost everywhere on him.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty intimidating.
All in all, his physique basically screamed, "Don't f*** with me." Anyway, he told us to come inside, and so we quickly entered. We had some pizza, and eventually me and my brother made our way to the inflatable house.
Yeah.
We went inside the inflatable house, and that's when we got to know our neighbor's kids a little better.
Yeah.
We started talking to them and realized they were actually pretty fun to hang out with.
Cool.
I don't really
Were they
remember
just
what we
afraid of
talked
their
about,
dad?
but somehow the topic of the conversation went to one of the twins talking about how they found a gun in their parents' bedroom drawer.
Oh.
They said that it also had a silencer, meaning it would basically make no noise when you
that's
shoot.
crazy. See, we have
Me
guns,
and my
but we don't
brother
have
were both
silencers.
in disbelief because we were really into guns
We're
at that
hunters,
age.
not
We
assassins.
never saw a real gun before. Then they told us that their parents accidentally ordered the bounce house for 2 days, so we could meet them in the bounce house at 1 a.m. and they'll try to show us the gun.
Oh no.
My brother and I, being the dumb kids we
This
were,
is not
accepted.
Good, man. Not good at all.
That night,
You gotta
we
lock
both set
up
our
your guns
alarms
for your
slightly
kids,
before
parents.
1
You
a.m.
got
and
to.
woke up. My brother came into my room, and we looked out the window to see if they were still inside the bounce house. Sure enough, the bounce house was moving, and we quietly rushed downstairs, carefully opened the back door, and climbed over the fence to our neighbor's house.
Snuck out.
As we entered the bounce house, we both saw the gun, and it was magic to our eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Even the silencer was on it, and it looked like something straight out of a James Bond movie. We took turns inspecting it, and that's when one of them told us to be careful, because it was loaded.
Oh my
I asked why it was loaded,
Of course.
and they told us their father kept it in the bedroom
has a
next to his
silencer
bed,
on it, that's
either
why.
probably for
It's
security
made to kill
reasons.
people.
But then, that's when one of the twins said they almost forgot, and then he proceeded to pull a small Ziploc bag of white powder. None of us knew what it was until one of the twins explained it was what he sold to make his money. Then out of nowhere, the other twin shakes up and tells everyone to hide. As he jolts up, the now open bag of cocaine spills onto all of us and all around the bounce house.
Oh my god.
I then asked what the deal was
These are
when he pointed to
kids.
the upstairs window that was now lit. At this point, we're all hiding behind the bounce house, and we hear the back door open. I peek to look up, and sure enough, it's Rocco. He slowly walks up towards the bounce house, and we're all certain and absolutely mortified by the fact that he noticed his cocaine basically spilled all over the bounce floor. He walked over to the backside of the bounce house, and that's when he saw all of us hiding. Both twins don't know what to say, and we kind of just all stay there in silence, awaiting our fate.
What the hell? It's
That's
kids
when he calmly
though.
orders his two sons to go back to their rooms. They both quickly leave, and now it's just him staring
Is
at
he
me
just
and my
gonna
brother.
threaten them and let them go?
He slowly gets closer to us and tells us something similar to the following.
Yeah.
If you two fuckers ever tell on this, you and your family get the bullet.
Oh,
Then he
threaten their
looks down at
family
the gun,
too?
which is at his feet. He picks it up and inspects it.
Oh my god.
That's when he suddenly points it right at us. Me and my brother jolt back, and as we get up to
Kids,
leave,
yo.
he abruptly orders us
Kids.
to stop. Then he put his gun in his back pocket and proceeded to tell us something that basically flipped my stomach inside down. He said that if he ever saw us again, he'd do it for real.
Oh
Then he
my
told us goodnight
God.
and walked away. We instantly climbed over the fence and ran back to our house, quietly going to our rooms.
No wonder he
Luckily,
thought the kids
both my parents were
weird.
still sleeping, and we both went to bed as if nothing happened. From that day on, we never went back to see those kids again, and we basically never told our parents. Then, about 1 month later, they moved out, and me and my brother were instantly relieved.
Thank goodness, dude. Rocco was a cold-blooded, drug-slinging killer.
When I was around 8,
Oh my
family
God,
went to a
dude,
giant
that's
resort
crazy.
just outside of town for the 4th of July.
All right.
Everything was
Independence
set
Day
up on the resort's
celebration
golf
in the
course.
U.S.
I remember there being a bunch of people, mostly rich looking, and there were chairs set up for
Golf
everyone
course.
to watch the fireworks come
That's-
evening time.
That's kind of how it goes,
There
man.
were buffets, hot dog stands, and a bunch of attractions.
Nice.
I remember there being this
The food.
massive bounce house,
Of course.
which was more
This
like a
thing is
bounce land, so to
huge.
speak, with slides, tubes, a
Wow.
maze, and all kinds of other fun stuff on there.
Big money right there.
I took my shoes off and enthusiastically jumped inside the
Look at this
inflatable
thing,
house.
How big, dude.
I went over to the maze section
I'd have
and
fun
tried
in there.
completing the maze and discovering what was over to the back side.
Mm-hmm.
After a good 5 minutes, I finally completed the maze. That's when I encountered a group of much older kids, almost teenagers.
Well, they were
It
just
was
having
3
fun
guys, and they all seemed to be roughly about 14 years old.
too. Okay.
They seemed to be caught off guard when they saw me, as
What
if
were
they
they
were
doing
about to
back
do
there?
something.
Right.
Upon seeing me, one of them with a buzz cut started talking to me.
Okay.
"Sup, fatty? Made it through the maze?
Uh-oh.
Cool. Nothing to see here. You can go back now." I replied that he was stupid for calling me fat. That got no reply though.
Right.
So then I asked what they were doing because I was genuinely curious.
No, no,
The
no.
same guy replied that it was none of my business and that I should go
get out.
play in the other sections of the maze.
That should be a hint.
Then
But kids
one of the
don't
other
act like
guys
that.
rhetorically asked if I was gonna tell my mom. I jokingly replied that I would because they look like crackheads and would
Oh.
get evicted in seconds if I told the security guards as well.
Don't say
That's when
stuff
all
like
of a
that.
sudden one of them gets up and rushes towards me.
What a brave son of a
Before I
gun,
have time
dude.
to move, he grabs me by the collar and throws me against the wall.
Oh my God.
Listen here, you little fats. If you tell anyone anything, you're gonna get the Mickey special. For some
hell is the
reason,
Mickey
I
special?
then asked what the Mickey special was.
Oh, not in the Mickey
That's
Mouse,
when
huh?
they all got up and formed a semicircle around me,
Oh no.
blocking me against a corner. I instantly
Are they
tried
just
to
gonna
run
beat
away
him?
by ducking under one of them, but quickly and forcefully get thrown back against the corner.
Right.
That's when I feel all of them tightly pack themselves onto me. At this point, I'm completely smashed into the corner, and my head is facing the bounce house's wall.
Oh, they're trying
so
to
I basically
suffocate
can't
him.
breathe. I'm in there for a good 30 seconds,
Oh, no.
trying my hardest to scream, but I could sense that nothing significantly audible would come out. It was basically like I was drowning, except worse.
These kids
because
knew
there
what
was
they
this
were doing.
crushing pressure, and I was sealed off to the air. I feel like starting to panic
The more you
as they were
struggle,
showing no
the
signs of
harder
giving up.
it is either. Oh
Then,
my
at
God.
about 40 seconds, they get off of me, and I manage to catch my breath.
God.
With every remaining effort in my body, I sort of limp back over to the maze as quickly as I can. As I'm in the maze, I hear one of them saying, "Hopefully I've learned my lesson."
Wow.
And obviously, after such a traumatic event, I never told anyone about my encounter.
What a terrible
I just kind of
group
went back to my
kids,
parents,
dude.
as if nothing happened. Luckily, I never met those guys again, and I still don't know what drugs they were doing.
Good
But my initial guess of it being crack was right, given how angry one of them got.
God dang. All of these. One was sick, one was twisted, and one was downright scary. My gosh, man. People are crazy. Crazy, I tell you. Yo, Spook tells these stories so well. Make sure to subscribe to that dude, as well as a couple other videos that I reacted to that you can check out here from him. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.